right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Friday evening. Another Knicks Fan TV Bleacher Report simulcast. CP the Fanchise in the building. Special guest checking in from Detroit. He's our guy, Knicks insider for SNY. Ian Begley's in the building, man. He is on the ground reporting from hostile territory, enemy territory, if you will, but from the confines of his hotel room studio. Let's tap in, man. We're going to react to Game 3, talk about some of the keys to Game 4, and if you guys got questions for Ian, call us up on the KFTV Discord. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to all of our Fanchise channel members. Happy Friday to Knicks Nation. Let's get into it. All right, man. Ian, how we feeling, man? How you doing, man?
CP, I'm good, man. How are you?
Hey, doing well, all things considered, man. All hell was about to break loose after they lost in the Garden in Game 2. As you know, that was a maddening loss. We had a good therapy session the next day to talk about the keys to Game 3, and I felt like all my keys kind of came true in this Game 3. I just really looked at it as, just getting back to doing what they do best. Moving the ball, playing as a team, and as we saw, the two-headed monster, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, both 8, combining for 61 points in this game. Who were you most impressed with in this Game 3 victory?
Towns, because he was aggressive with his shot. Look, obviously the Knicks were trying to get him the ball early, but he was very aggressive with his shot. When the crowd, to me, was at one of its loudest points early on in that game, he silenced the crowd with that shooting early on, and he set the tone for the Knicks because, Tim Hardaway Jr. came out red hot, obviously.
Yeah, he did.
And if you don't have Towns hitting those shots, who knows what would have happened. And also, I'm sure he heard some of the criticism about maybe he wasn't aggressive enough in trying to get the ball second half of Game 2. And if he did hear it, he took it in and then showed out and shot the ball extremely well. If he didn't hear it, then okay, but I'm sure he did. And so to me, that tells you about his ability to hear the noise and then to perform. And that's not something that all players can do, especially here. So I thought Towns was big, really big for them last night.
Yeah, and especially with him, because I feel like he has that reputation, at least for, in my opinion. I can't speak for everybody else, but I always question, can he rise to the occasion? Can he come through in those big spots and really deliver for this team when they needed him? Because, let's be honest, Detroit is a great defense, right? They finished top 10 in the league at the end of the regular season, so they deserve a lot of respect. But outside of the matchups that Brunson has, to me, Karl-Anthony Towns should be eating very well in this series. In Game 1, he was there. Game 2 could have been the same thing. He just didn't get those opportunities.
Right. And I thought the Knicks, and look, you want to crush Tom Thibodeau for Karl Towns not getting the ball. I think you got to give him credit for Towns getting the ball early. Game 3, because he got it, and he got it in spots that he could be effective. They found him as a trailer. He was operating the pick and roll a little bit. So whatever they figured out between games 2 and 3, they came out with effective sets against the Detroit team where, look, if you're not hitting shots early and they get going, who knows where it could go, because there was a lot of energy in that building. It was a loud Little Caesars Arena last night.
Yeah, I like the way that they mixed it up, man. They got him his threes in transition. He took Durant off the dribble because Durant cannot check him. He went inside as well. So I like the way that he was mixing it up in different areas of the floor. So good job by the Big Bodega, and good job by his team and Tibbs feeding him early, and they were rewarded for it. Now on the Brunson side of the ball, as we talked about on your show, the putback with Ian Begley after Game 2, just move the ball. A better floor game for Jalen Brunson. They need him to get everybody else going in rhythm. But the one thing about Jalen, and I was talking to Steph to Starberry last night after the game, the one thing about Jalen that you can trust after bad games, he always corrects.
Yep.
He always corrects. He rarely has 2 bad games in a row. And even though the shots weren't falling early, I still like the floor game. He got Bridges involved. He got Cat involved. And then when they needed him, he got those clutch buckets in the fourth quarter, which is where you need him to be at his best.
Yeah, he showed up. And you talk about the adjustments. I was thinking a little bit about the Philly series last year where first 2 games he wasn't great, and then he just figured things out and then took off from there. and obviously wasn't the same kind of performance that you saw against Philly later in the series, but just as effective in my mind, because in the morning, after the Knicks shoot around out in a suburb of Detroit, a couple of reporters, myself, we're talking to him and we're saying, what'd you see on tape? He was talking about missed opportunities. And then, we asked him, what are those missed opportunities? He voluntarily said, I need to get off the ball. There were possessions where I took bad shots and I needed to get off the ball and I needed to communicate on defense. And a funny moment was somebody said, when you say get off the ball, what do you mean? What do you mean? He was like, pass the ball. Do I have to say it in French? What are we talking about? And then he comes out and does it, man, because it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to actually do it, to correct what you perceive as mistakes that you made, hold yourself accountable, and then course correct in the middle of a series. And he did that. I mean, look at the shot distribution last night among those four guys who combined for 100 points between them. The shot distribution was excellent. You had Anunoby, you had Bridges, you had these guys scoring the basketball, looking comfortable. And so credit to Brunson for correcting and hostile environment. I mean, I questioned this team's ability to bounce back from adversity for much of the year. I questioned their togetherness, their cohesion. But last night, man, they passed a big test to me because teams could have crumbled in that moment, in that arena where the Pistons, whatever the Knicks threw at them, it seemed like they had a counter. They kept coming back, kept coming back, even in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks had an answer every time. And they showed a lot of fortitude to me.
I thought so too, and hopefully this galvanizes them as they continue to march forward. And as you said, they were able to quell the momentum every time Detroit made their runs, whether it was the Timmy outburst in the second quarter or the late fourth quarter run. They had an answer for everything. So that was good resistance by this Knicks team in pulling this one out. And you mentioned the crowd, and it's so interesting. Just another chapter in the evolution of Brunson, where now he's an enemy, if you will. Now he's a villain to these Detroit people, man. What was that like, just being in the building for that and hearing it?
Yeah, I was looking for a reaction, and for Brunson, like, there was very little reaction. He didn't really give it a lot of airtime after the game when people were asking him about it. I only saw one time, and it was after he hit the layup over Schroeder, I think, to put them up four very late in the fourth, before all that shenanigans happened. And it essentially sealed the game. And Detroit calls timeout. He's walking over to the bench. He's walking past half court, and he just puts his hand up for like 3 seconds and stares into the crowd, and then he just keeps going. So that was the only reaction, visceral reaction, that I saw from him all night. And obviously he handled it very well. PJ Tucker, I was talking to him after the game. He's like, crowds don't understand. You do that to a really, really good player, it's just going to help them. Like, they're just going to perform better. So they helped the Knicks essentially last night. I'm curious to see what the approach is a Sunday afternoon. Maybe not as loud a crowd because less alcohol involved, maybe. But still, it's going to be, very passionate. Do they go back to the chance? Do they not? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely, man. CP the Fanchise here. Our guy, Knicks insider, Ian Begley, is in the building. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Happy Friday to Knicks Nation. Wingstop. Very impressive performance by the duo. I think the trio, but let's start with Bridges and Anunoby, man. You had 3 steals and 2 blocks for Bridges. 2 steals, 1 block for Anunoby. They hold Cade to 10 of 25 shooting in this game. 6 turnovers as well. I really like their defensive intensity, their ball pressure, and just getting after it. And offensively, hey, a combined 14 for 30 for these guys. What do you think of Wingstop's performance in this one?
I mean, look, you said it, right? The Cunningham numbers, to me, tell you the story. 10 of 25, all those turnovers seemed to get to spots where he was comfortable. But even there, the shot was challenged by a Bridges or an Anunoby or someone coming over to help. So as good as Cade Cunningham was in game 2 and as comfortable he looked, he did not look as comfortable here in Detroit at home. That's a credit to those 2 guys. And really, big picture, if you go back to the summer, right? Knicks obviously putting a lot on the table for Bridges, putting a lot on the table for Towns, and then signing Anunoby to that big deal. All 3 of those guys played really well in big spots for them in a game that they had to have. So maybe this is kind of what Leon Rose and the group envisioned when they made those moves. the vision wasn't crystal clear over the course of the season, but really last night, I mean, they needed that game badly, and they got it, and those three guys stepped up big time.
Yeah, and when you talk about the Cade 6 turnovers, only one was him like kind of throwing the ball away. All the rest were forced turnovers,
Pressure.
taking the ball out of his hand, Bridges forcing him into the up and down, into the travel. So just, again, good ball pressure. And then Bridges, really, I just wanted to just see more continued offense going through him. I like the way that they ran him high pick and roll, get him going downhill, step into that mid-range, like have him play fast. I just like that, getting him out in transition as well, and then finding him for those weak side jumpers. They did a good job getting him involved offensively.
It's interesting, CP, because in the regular season, a lot of times you saw Josh Hart as that secondary ball handler, especially early on in the regular season. But what happened with this series and what happened in the second half of the season kind of regularly was that when you put that center on Josh Hart, he's not going to be that secondary ball handler anymore because he has to operate differently within the flow of the offense. So that was taken away from Hart by Detroit. And so someone else had to be that ball handler. It was Bridges early on game 3, and he really thrived in that role. And yeah, you can't say enough defensively about both of those guys because they've been under a microscope all year, rightfully so. I know Bridges has gotten hammered by corners of the fan base, and he hasn't played well at times, so rightfully so. But they both showed up, man. They both really showed up when the Knicks needed it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if you want to talk about Thompson and Schroeder and those guys making it hard for Brunson and Tobias at times making it hard for Towns, there's no one there that I see can make it hard for Mikal Bridges. If you got Tim Hardaway Jr. guarding you, if you got Dennis Schroeder guarding you should be able to elevate, rise, and fire over those guys, and he should be able to eat 90% of the time. So I hope that he can maintain his aggressiveness in going forward in Game 4, and yeah, good job there. Josh Hart. I thought this was another accountability game. It just in terms of you saw him actively snatching those boards, and they lost the rebounding battle by 14 in game 2.
Yep.
In game 3 here, they lost by 3, but they made it a lot closer. But either way, I felt like you just saw the effort and the energy there from Hart, really intentional in grabbing those boards.
Certainly, and move the ball too, and to his credit with the rebounds, because that was the glaring miss for the Knicks in game 2. Tom Thibodeau pointed it out after the game, and you wondered, how do you really correct that? And maybe it's just as simple as an effort, a mindset thing, and Josh Hart was Josh Hart again in terms of rebounding the basketball. And I'll go back to the veteran PJ Tucker was talking to him in the locker room after the game, and he was like, forget about making shots, missing shots. It was about getting the 50-50 ball, being aggressive, playing with an edge, getting back to who we are. So that's what he saw from his seat, and that's certainly what the viewers saw watching this thing on television and in the arena. It was this Knick team that rebounded much, much better than they did in game 2, and it was Hart being the catalyst there. And you got to give credit, too, to Anunoby and Bridges, because those guys, they don't rebound often. I guess Anunoby didn't have maybe he had a minimal amount, but still with the box out, Brunson got – and Bridges got, and Bridges doesn't always rebound the ball. So another credit to Bridges there.
What did you make of that end of the game sequence where Brunson is at the line? I believe the Knicks it was either a 2-point game or a 3-point game, 0.5 seconds left, and the clock operator starts the clock off of the rim touch rather than the rebound, and then they give Detroit the ball after that. I thought that was crazy, man.
Nonsensical. I mean, the whole time when they were looking at it after the missed time buzzer, I just thought maybe he was going to get a shot again and they would just start it over. I didn't know really how you would reset it because I don't see that. I've never seen that before, but I figured, and if you're going to reset it in any way, the last way you reset it is to give Detroit a free shot. And to me, it brings up an interesting issue for the league because those are Pistons employees down there. I assume they're Pistons employees because with the Knicks at the Garden, they are making doing the clock and controlling things there on the sideline. And I just wonder if you want to avoid something like this in the future, maybe the NBA has to come in and say, hey, we have to hire these guys. These have to be our employees because they're impartial. And I'm not suggesting that anybody's impartial, but it fuels that kind of thought, that conspiracy that, hey, there's some home cooking here. And if they're employees of the team, it just leads you more in that direction. So maybe the NBA takes a look at it, because I think you do need some impartiality there on the clock and in those situations.
Yeah, that was bizarre, man. Definitely had me like throwing a tinfoil kufi on, like, what is going on here, man? Is Mason over there cooking something up, Mr. Detroit basketball over there? But yeah, that was interesting, and luckily they were able to make it out of there.
Can you imagine, though, if it went the other way? I mean, if somehow, some way it went the other way, I mean, it would have just been bonkers.
Yeah, no, the league office would have been under high security alert in New York City.
And you find those people online who are at the table. I mean, God, I'm just happy it didn't go the other way. Yeah. It would have been really bad.
For sure. The bench, another game. Another not so good in terms of the output. I mean, you had 9 points combined. Deuce 1 for 4. Cam, I thought Cam was decent in the first half, but again, Tibbs kind of has that tendency to not go to those guys in the second half, leading more of the starters. Not sure if that's, we have 2 games rest in between games, so I'm going to go a little bit longer, or we just need to pull this out. But what do you make, especially Deuce, man? He's just not having that offensive output that you're looking for right now.
Yeah, different than last year's playoffs. He did hit a big 3 though, late in the game.
Yeah.
And so that was key. But certainly, whether it's opportunities or whether it's him not shooting it as well, maybe both are factors there. And probably hard to get in rhythm when you're playing the minutes that you're playing. But I'll say this: Mitchell Robinson, as part of those double big lineups. I mean, we talk about the rebounding numbers. He was a big factor there. So I think if you're talking about the bench, we should mention Mitch as playing a very good game, very impactful game. And, maybe we don't talk about it enough. I think about it a lot, though, like the difficulty for him coming back last year after he got hurt and had surgery, and then being in there for the playoffs, having an impact, and then the Embiid thing happens, and then you're off for 10 months trying to work your way back. You're hearing trade rumors. You don't know really what's going to go on. And you come back and you're impactful, and he looks good. He's lost weight. He looks light on his feet. So I think credit to him for really grinding through that rehab and getting himself to a place where he can do what he did last night.
Yeah, true indeed, man, and got into a little fisticuffs with Paul Reed. I like that. The Block Nest Monster was getting a little chippy out there, and then Karl Anthony Towns gets in. That was nice, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Karl Towns coming in heavy.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah, maybe that was like a little setup, man. Maybe that was a coordination between PJ Tucker, Rick Brunson told Mitchie, you know what I mean? Like, this caused a little static here. Let's test Karl's moxie a little early, So that was nice. That was nice to see. And the camera, you didn't see it on the TV, but as soon as they got into it, the camera pans over to Isaiah Stewart. Like, oh man, they're missing their big enforcer. What is he gonna do? Yeah. I mean, they've made him into a folk hero, if you will.
Yeah,
but
yeah. That's a good job by the producer, whoever was in the truck, man.
Yeah.
Let's see how Isaiah's feeling about it, but that's funny.
Right. One thing in this game, and Knicks fans right now, because I made the comment that the pressure is busting pipes. You can make the question about the players, but the fans are just, once Timmy made that run in the second half, the fans in the play-by-play chat was like, oh man, this game's over. We stink. We're going to lose. The series is over. Fire Tibbs. They're jumping. But I got to give a lot of credit to the Pistons because they are a very efficient and resilient group when it comes to those runs, man. It's like you cannot blink. You cannot make a mistake because they will get you on the other side. Whether it's Schroeder, it's Timmy. Thankfully Malik Beasley didn't pop off yesterday. But, man, with the Knicks, they have to be very careful with this team because even down to the wire in the fourth quarter, this game was far from over.
Yeah, they did not quit. And I thought the Knicks played as well as they could play. I mean, maybe you make some more shots. You could nitpick here and there. But by and large, that was the Knicks' best game in a long time, I thought, from those starters. And so you gave them a lot, and they kept coming back. And, yeah, credit to the Pistons. And I'm going to be interested to see how they come out game 4. Obviously, it's a devastating loss for them here Thursday. Can you bounce back, or does that take the wind out of your sails? But certainly, they keep coming at you. And as you noted, it can come from anywhere, right? Tobias, Malik, Timmy, Holland is aggressive.
Scrapper, yeah.
Thompson, he's a blur if he spins around and he can get to the rim. So there's a lot of people to account for there. And Schroeder, goes without saying. But I did think like, yeah, the Knicks showed you something in weathering all of that from Detroit and still coming out with a victory. And who else but Jalen Brunson getting to the rim, converting, knocking down free throws at the end to essentially seal it.
Yeah, Captain Clutch, man. The Clutch Player of the Year. CP the Fanchise. Ian Begley is here. Happy Friday to Knicks Nation. My Fanchise channel members, go ahead and throw a salute in the chat to salute Ian Begley in here. Do we have a phone call? Kareem the Dream, are you on the Discord? Kareem the Dream.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Kareem, what's up?
Wow, the AirPods. The AirPods are working.
Okay.
Hey, Ian. Hey, CP. Big fan. Thank you for all the amazing analysis and keeping us above water. I did have a very scary moment last game, and I was one of the people freaking out. But one thing that I was thinking about, which we all acknowledge, that Jeff Van Gundy was one of the best coaches in Knicks history. I know he's back in the game. Like, what do you think the chances of getting Jeff Van Gundy back in the mix? You know, we need veteran voices like PJ Tucker and people who are going to hold people accountable.
It's an interesting thought. I mean, look, if some spot opens up on the bench, I'm sure Tom Thibodeau would love to have Jeff here. I guarantee that. And it's just a matter. I know Jeff has said it. I think he said it. He's having a really good time back on the bench with the Clippers. So yeah, there's always movement on a bench, and things open up, and we'll see what happens. But I'm sure Tom Thibodeau would want to be aggressive. I just don't know the history of Van Gundy and the Knicks. Maybe everything is on good terms now in terms of owner James Dolan. I don't know. That's the one thing, the one place where I would wonder. I just don't know where it's at. Maybe it's in a good place, then that doesn't matter, but probably factors in if we're thinking in this hypothetical of Jeff coming back to the bench.
Yeah, sure, man. That's my coach, Ian, man, my favorite Knick coach, and I'm happy to see him having success with the Clippers. You see the articles, man. They're giving him so much credit for turning things around there, and the relationship with Harden and the Clippers defense. I mean, he's standing up more than Ty Lue on that sideline coaching, man. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
good for him, man.
Yeah, maybe he goes and gets because he was flirting with Dallas for a little bit. Right. And
Yep.
He's wanting to come back as a head coach, and maybe it's Sacramento, or who knows? Maybe he gets a head coaching job over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, a smart owner would do it, and because if you're, no matter where you are in the process, he's gonna lift you up. So yeah, I'd be aggressive there trying to get him.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to my guy STG Nick on the Discord. He's a Garden regular season ticket holder. Ian, after the Knick games, we go to him for the stadium report from Madison Square Garden during the regular season.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice,
shout out to
nice.
STG Nick. STG, how you feeling, man?
What's up, Ian? I've met you a few times, had the pleasure of meeting you a few times before the Christmas Day game outside the Garden, also opening night against Indiana.
Well, I got to check out the reports now, man.
I just had one quick question. So far throughout the playoffs, and since he's really come back, Mitch has been limited on the minutes, but his impact in those minutes has been very big. Do you get the sense that there's still some sort of minutes restriction, or do you think it's just Tibbs feeling certain matchups? That's what he likes to do with his minutes. Just that's what I was wondering. Thank you.
Yeah, the game 2 minutes to me were interesting, and you bring up a good point because he only played 20 there, and Tom Thibodeau said rebounding was an issue, so you kind of put 2 and 2 together. You wonder why he couldn't play more. So I have to think that there's something there. There's some place where he can't go beyond, or they don't want him to go beyond at this point, because why else wouldn't he play more? But also, he's playing behind a guy essentially who is going to give you, high 30 minutes totals a night in Karl Towns. So there's only so many minutes to be had there for Mitch. So I think that's a factor too. But yeah, I think just you look at his body and the way he's gotten himself lighter coming off this thing. And I think he learned from his mistakes there, because he got heavy sometimes in previous rehabs, and this one he did not do that. And, if he didn't take care of his body the way he did, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing right now for this team. So again, credit to Mitchell Robinson. But I do wonder, it's a good point, STG, about potential minutes restrictions. I don't think they're going to say anything publicly, because gamesmanship, why would you want to give that up to your opponent? But maybe there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, the minutes. But as STG said, he's been impactful in that limited time. So, hey, as long as he can get out of these games unscathed, we'll take it in, whether it's in limited fashion or more than that. So shout out to the Block Nest Monster for sure. What are you expecting Game 4? What are you thinking about Game 4 as they tip off 1 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday?
I mean, look, I think you get a good Cade game, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting 10 for 25 and all those turnovers. If the math is the math, Malik Beasley's going to knock shots down because the way he shot it all year, you think that, regression to the mean comes on Sunday. And then I wonder, Tobias Harris, maybe you get more from him. But the thing that interests me, CP, is second half, Detroit comes out, Duren on Towns again. And Duren just went to work in the high pick and roll. And it seems like they got everything they wanted for a sequence there early in the second half. And then obviously there were some adjustments on both ends. But I wonder, how do you start the game? Do you start the game Duren on Towns, or do you go back to Tobias on Towns and Duren on Hart? That to me is going to be an interesting chess match early on. But yeah, I would expect Cade Cunningham to give you more. And I would expect Beasley to knock a few shots down Sunday. And let's see if the Knicks can weather that storm.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that, Game 4 will be sort of like a Game 2 type desperation from the Pistons. A lot of Cade getting downhill like he did in Game 2, and we'll have to see who the officiating crew is going to be and how they call it. Because this game, I believe the Knicks had 29 free throw attempts. Pistons 27, although JB Bickerstaff seemed to be upset about the discrepancies or the way it was being called. I expected it to be a little bit more down the middle yesterday rather than Game 2. So let's see who the crew is for 4 and how they call it.
Yeah, I thought there was consistency too
in
the way Zach Zarber and his crew handled it. And that's all you could really ask for if you listen to Tom Thibodeau. Call ticky-tack, don't call ticky-tacks, but at least be consistent on both sides. And I thought they were.
Yeah. So for sure, man. So you got a couple of days there in Detroit, man. What does this look like for you? Are you going to be doing a food review? Are you going downtown? Right? Are you going to go live from your cell phone and give us a tour of the city, man? What are you doing after this, man?
I think it's going to rain. We were thinking about maybe a baseball game.
Yeah.
But it looks like it might rain out. And so as boring as this sounds, CP, I got 2 kids at home. So I got a quiet hotel room here.
Yeah.
I might just order in, bro, and enjoy some quiet
Peace
time.
Quiet.
Yeah, I might do that tonight. And then we'll see. There's some younger writers out here. I'm sure they want to go out in the town and go crazy. So maybe tomorrow night we'll see what happens.
Make sure Trilogy is picking up the tab, man. Oh, and he's getting the business, man, from the Detroit fans and the Knicks fans. Trilogy's just getting knocked around.
Whatever he says, it's one fan base or the other that's coming in hot for poor James. And James, there's no hidden meaning behind his tweets. He's just tweeting what he feels. There's no agenda. But poor James, Trilogy's
getting that work out there, man. But listen, man, enjoy it. Hey, that peace and quiet is very underrated. So I'm with you, man. Do your thing. Slow motion is the best motion. And let's catch up soon, man. But thanks again for the report, man.
I look forward to it, my friend. Always great to be with you. Enjoy yourself this weekend. Enjoy yourself Sunday.
Yes, sir. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's our guy, Ian Begley, in the building, man, giving us the Game 3 report, the Game 4 keys. And make sure you tap in, man. This was a great show. Another KFTV, excellent production. Salute to everybody watching on the Bleacher Report side. That's our guy, man, giving us the lowdown, man. Triple M in the building. Salute to Triple M. Salute to everybody in the chat. My Fanchise channel members, stick around. We got a lot of housekeeping to do, and I got something for you guys. I got two things for you guys. Shout out to Triple M. Salute to the Fanchise channel members once again. Salute to our mods. TM, I see you in there. Salute, man. Thanks again to Ian Begley. That was a great show. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Like, share, and subscribe, of course. And do all those things, man. Well, let's pay some bills real quick. I want to shout out one of the sponsors of tonight's show, and that is Morgan & Morgan Injury Attorneys, America's largest injury law firm, to be exact, man. With over $25 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. For example, in Florida, a client received $12 million after the insurance company's best offer was just $350,000. In Pennsylvania, a client was awarded $26 million, a staggering 40 times the insurance company's original offer of $650,000. So those are just some of the examples of how Morgan & Morgan goes the extra miles to fight for you. For over 35 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people, just like you and I. They have over 100 offices and more than 1,000 lawyers nationwide. So, hey, man, we all know that all law firms are not the same. And one good thing about Morgan & Morgan is that it's free. Their services are free unless you win. Free unless you win. All right. So for more information, go to forthepeople.com/KFTV or dial pound law, which is pound 529 from your cell phone. forthepeople.com/KnicksFanTV or from your phone, dial pound 529 from your cell phone. All right. Thanks again to our friends at Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring today's show. Okay. All right, shout out to our guys there. Salute to the homie Triple M. Triple M pulled up on us at the watch party, man. He was fresh. Let me show y'all this real quick. Salute to the homie Triple M, man. He came through stunting on us at the watch party, man. He did the same thing last year, but man, you can't tell me there's a bigger diehard than Triple M in the building. I mean, check out the braids, man. Check out the braids. He got the I Love New York joints. Triple M, but the I Love New York joints dyed in orange and blue. That's the diehards, man. Salute to Triple M. He pulled up to the watch party, man. He copped some merch. He copped some of our playoff merch. So shout out to Triple M, man. That's our guy right there. Salute to everybody who came out to the watch party. And speaking of watch party, get your Game 4 watch party tickets, man. We will be back at the Ainsworth. That's 45 East 33rd Street, 12 p.m. Remember, it's a 1 o'clock start. So 12 p.m. we will be at the Ainsworth. So make sure that you guys are getting your tickets, KFTVWatch.com or KnicksFanTV.com. All right, so that's what's going on there. And speaking of Triple M and the merch, here we go, man. Against all odds, man. We got the T-shirts. See, Triple M was rocking the hoodie. Here's the T-shirt. You got the Against All Odds on the front. Here we go. Boom. Against all odds, man. Get your tees. Yes, sir. Salute to Triple M. And we got the hoodies as well, man. We got the hoodies as well. Salute to our guys. You can get it there at shop.KnicksFanTV.com, KnicksFanTV.com. Against all odds, man. That's the theme that we went with this year for this squad. Salute to the artist Drez Williams, man. We work with a lot of different artists on different collaborations. So this one was done by Drez Williams. Will Latimer says my T-shirt's on the way. Yup, the T-shirt is on the way. We have those, and also, hang on one second. We have the this is an 18 by 24, but we got the 18 by 24 prints also. So we have the snaps, we have the stickers, we got the hoodies, the T-shirts, and we have the 18 by 24 prints. And those 18 by 24 prints will be signed by me. Those are signed by yours truly, CP the Fanchise. All right. So make sure you guys are going to shop.KnicksFanTV.com to get your merch. Now, another thing I wanted to do, and I've been meaning to catch up, man. We've been so busy. We have, I'm going to do 2 giveaways right now. Fanchise channel members, get ready. We're going to do some, we always like to give you guys a piece of the garden. So we're going to give you some, this was the merch that they handed out after game 1, during game 1 rather. So you're going to get a playoff cup. This was actually from the Delta Club. Everybody's not getting this. So this is a collector's item here. All right, my guys at the Delta Club hooked me up. You're going to get the T-shirt and the towel. I think I left the towel at Wifey's crib, so I got to get that. But this is the pack that you're going to get, a Madison Square Garden pack. We like to bring people closer to home, but you guys know what you got to do here. You know what you got to do, and that is answer today's question. Let's get to it. Fanchise channel members, get ready. TM, are you there? STG says, oh, yeah, you got the cup. Yeah, STG, you got to be with us in the Delta, man. I told you, STG, we haven't been seeing you in the Delta, man. Isaiah, yeah, we got 4Xs in the merch. We do have 4Xs in the merch, for sure. Okay. TM has filtered the chat. You guys know, for you guys that are new here, you got to answer the trivia question. Okay? So now, the first question and the first winner is going to win this pack, the playoff pack. The t-shirt, the cup, and the towel. I don't have the towel in front of me to display, but you'll get it in the mail. You'll see what it looks like if you answer this question. And the question is, which former Pistons draftee became a fan favorite after he signed with the Knicks? Pistons draftee became a Knicks fan favorite. Let's see, man. Let's get the first winner up here. What do you guys think? What do you guys think, man? Pistons draftee, Knicks fan favorite. Let us know what you think, man. Okay, seeing some answers. Oh. Sweating bullets in the studio right now. It's kind of warm out here in New York. Let's see. Pistons draftee became a Knicks fan favorite. Triple M, I'm cracking up over here. Okay. All right. I see the answer. The first answer. Oh my goodness, guys. Triple M, I mean, you guys are disappointing me. Shout out to El Dantastico for getting it. It was Allen Houston, man. Allen Houston, man. Allen Houston, drafted by the Pistons in the 1993 draft, the 11th pick, played 3 seasons for Detroit before becoming a star in New York. He's right behind me right there on the wall. Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups was not drafted by the Pistons. Rasheed Wallace was not drafted by the Pistons. Triple M. Come on, man. So shout out to El Dantastico, man. Email us at kftvmedia@gmail.com. Shout out to Triple M, man. Wow, I can't believe that. Y'all said Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace. Whoa. That is funny. Okay, but no, that was our guy Allen Houston, man. Allen Houston was the guy. All right, so shout out to El Dantastico. He is going to be going away with the Madison Square Garden playoff prize pack. Now, the next winner is going to get a KFTV playoff merch pack. The next winner is going to get a KFTV playoff. Triple M said that was a curveball. The next winner is going to get a KFTV merch pack, and that is going to come with the Against All Odds t-shirt. Against All Odds in the front. You got the graphic on the back, Against All Odds, and a sticker pack. Okay? The next person is going to get an Against All Odds t-shirt, whatever size of you're choosing, and the sticker pack. So let me get my theme music going here again. Get my theme music here. TM, are we still in member mode? I think we are. Okay, members, get ready for the next question. And the next question is, which former championship-winning Pistons coach rejected an offer from the New York Knicks? Championship Pistons coach rejected an offer from the New York Knicks. Think about it. Think about it. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, I see it. TM, was it Isaiah Knows Hoops or was it Zach in LA? We might have a tie here. I don't know. I don't want to call it. I don't want to call it an Ari, but we might have an Ari. And boy, Ari, he's very tight. He's very tight about that thing, man. He really felt like we screwed him. But we just playing by the rules. That's the rules of the house. All right, TM, who won? The answer is Chuck Daly, and the winner is Zach from LA. Congratulations to Zach. Salute to Zach, man. Great job. Zach from LA. Chuck Daly is the answer. 1995. Shout out to Black Adam. Sends a super chat to say so. So shout out to Black Adam. Triple M, yes, we did check the timestamps. TM is very quick on that. All right, so shout out to Zach out in LA. Zach, email us kftvmedia at gmail.com. Let us know your size, and we'll get you out a t-shirt and sticker pack. And congratulations to El Don Tassico. He won the Garden Pack. And I have another one of these, so we'll do another giveaway maybe after Game 4. A cup and the it's the cup playoffs 2025 and the tee. All right. For everybody else, go to shop.knicksfantv.com and knicksfantv.com to get your merch. All right, what else we got here? Game of the Week preview will be tonight live, so join Alex tonight. And also, before we wrap, we want to shout out another one of our sponsors of today, and that is LinkedIn, man. As a small business owner, you don't have the luxury of clocking out early. Your business is on your mind 24/7. So when you're hiring, you need a partner that grinds just as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified leads that you can manage all in one place. So for those of you small business owners or even medium-sized owners, LinkedIn Jobs is the way to go in terms of posting for your next hire, man. It's very easy, very intuitive. I can give you guys a personal example of how we found our guy, KnicksFanTV Dave, who became the first social media manager that we had and / editor. He wore many hats. But yeah, it was fairly simple. I just posted the job on LinkedIn. They sent me a list of qualified candidates. I was able to select KnicksFanTV Dave very quickly, got in contact with him. We set the meeting up, and basically he was hired within a day. So it works very well, and I that's my go-to. You know, fortunately, we've had a lot of, good hires come to us directly, but we've had no issues with going out to LinkedIn to get the best talent. And based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small and medium-sized businesses using LinkedIn say that LinkedIn helps them find high-quality candidates. So find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn, and you can post your job for free on linkedin.com/KFTV. That's linkedin.com/KFTV to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Okay. Shout out to our guys at KnicksFanTV. And so to you guys, man. Great show, Ian. Great show, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Oh, salute to Black Adam. Okay, yeah, he did. Yeah, you know what? Dave the Butcher was a good answer. That was definitely a good answer. You could have went with that. However, the Houston answers also, came in first. So we could have went with Dave the Butcher for sure. But shout out to El Dantastico for throwing Houston out there first. Will Latimer did say the Butcher. Will Latimer, that's a good one there. That's definitely a good one. And shout out to Black Adam for the support and the super chat. All right, guys, remember, man, salute to the replay gang. Remember that the show's available in audio podcast format. No reason to miss it. And we will see you guys later tonight for Game 4, Game of the Week preview. I'm out of here. Peace.